If you haven't by now heard the news, Square-Enix's president and CEO is stepping down, and he's going to be replaced by Tanashi Kairu. And hopefully I'm not butchering that name all too poorly. But this in and of itself in the news today really kind of made me want to talk about my feelings towards Square Enix. It feels like it's a tale of two cities, a tale of two companies. There are two mindsets that are going on with the company, and we've seen some really strange and odd behavior out of Square Enix as of late, and it has not, to me, made a lot of sense. And so this is what this video is going to explore, because when we start to look at how they sold off their Western divisions, they talked about that as a push to take that money into and push into NFTs and kind of this crypto gaming space, which we still have yet to see those games emerge. And so at its core, especially with news with Forspoken and them shuttering down that studio, it seems like Square Enix is going to be making some drastic changes to the company as a whole. First and foremost, the selling off of their Western studios, and then their discussion, especially from the CEO, talking about being a global company, wanting to make and have a global presence. It felt like that news in and of itself didn't make sense. Like, it was kind of like you're just got rid of like some of your global presence in the world and your publishing within the world, and also not for a lot of money. So I don't know if those studios or those games were as profitable as people made them out to be, because at $300 million to acquire, where Amazon went and paid $600 million just for the license with Tomb Raider alone from Embracer, has me think that that deal obviously had a lot of debt that they were kind of taking off the books for Square Enix to now invest in NFTs. And then Square Enix's CEO has been really pushing on that, and now to see that that has been changed, and a lot of the discussion around Square Enix as a global publisher versus now yoshi-p's discussion about JRPGs, which I have a video on that coming out here, probably here for you guys today. We actually have the history of where that started, and it started with BioWare, an interview with BioWare back in 2009. Wild story. Hopefully you guys enjoy that video when that goes live here in just a little bit sometime today, depending on when you're watching this, or if it's already live, check it out after this video. You'll be, I think you'll be really interestingly surprised. But on that note, as a player, as a fan, it feels like a lot of things have been happening within Japan from studios, from Square Enix specifically, that have really been set into motion for years and years and years. This is the same CEO who was surprised how well Bravely Default was received. And that to me tells me that I think Square Enix for a while now, not all of it, like Final Fantasy XIV has clearly done numbers. yoshi-p has bragged about that. He wished the rest of Square Enix could do what his division is doing. Final Fantasy XVI set to release this year, oddly enough, only on PlayStation. And I think also when we look at Forspoken and the fact that that studio just got shuttered down, and people and its reception not being everywhere, it seems like we want to sell more games. We want to put, we want to be a global company, but we're going to also not put our games everywhere for at least a little bit. I think maybe Game Pass and games as a service, subscription services probably has an impact on that. They're trying to, I guess, get the best out of both worlds, where you'll probably see Forspoken on PlayStation, and then maybe here in a year, it'll probably come out, on Game Pass or something like that. But at its core, it never really resonated with me that this was, in fact, like, it always just kind of felt like a two-headed snake. Like, one thing was saying one thing, yeah, we're gonna make RPGs, or they're gonna be great, and the other one was like, oh, we gotta appease this global market. And I felt like that's where Square Enix really struggled back in the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 era. It felt like they were trying to be a Western studio, and at the end of the day, people wanted them to be who they are. They wanted Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy. They wanted these games because they wanted that. And that's when he said that with Bravely Default, how it was so received and people really enjoyed it, that he was surprised. I was like, oh my gosh, I think they're reading the tea leaves wrong. I think that they're looking at all the data and coming up with the wrong results. I've said this numerous times that, like, I like data. Like, I like analyzing it. I know a lot of people who analyze data and they come up with bad results from the same data because maybe they don't have an idea about a certain aspect or two. And again, they probably have way more data. The reports that people put together for gaming and the industry alone, they're insane. There's so much interesting data when it comes to, like, what people say versus actually like what they do with their money. And I can get that we as gamers don't have all the information and all the pictures, but still, something has always kind of felt off about Square Enix, because it felt like they were doing the thing, like one side of the company was doing the things that gamers really want, and it's been celebrated. And then at the same time, the other side of the company was releasing things like Marvel Avengers, which it just didn't feel right. And I think probably the struggle that they've had within like all of these different areas has only led them to, in this case, not really look favorably maybe on the CEO. But I wish him all the best. It was, I wish the new CEO all the best, and I'm looking forward to hopefully a revitalized, direction and excitement and passion within the company itself. It's going to be interesting to see, but I thought I'd bring you to this news just so you're guys aware of it. I'd love to know your thoughts about it, and hopefully you guys check out the next video, which is going to be great. I think there's a lot of really interesting aspects that kind of maybe relate to this. And so anyway, wishing Square Enix all the best. Hopefully we see some really good things come out of it. Obviously, I think this news is dependent on board's approval, so who knows? Maybe anything could change from then to now. But I thought I'd let you guys know, and I wish you guys all the best. Thanks so much for checking out this video. If you feel like it earns it, hit that like button. If you feel like it doesn't, be sure to tap that dislike button twice to make sure that it's working. It has been working as of late. You guys have been really liking a lot of my videos, so I'm really happy with that. Anyway, guys, thanks so much. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video, but until then, take care.